Going on guys, Auto here once again bringing you a brand new video, going to be bringing you a Devil Jin tutorial. So yeah, let's begin. We're going to talk about strengths and weaknesses. So Devil Jin, he got a few changes in this game. He's a bit weaker in my opinion because of the fact that he benefited more from the bound system and his combo damage is a lot harder to achieve max damage. But yeah, let's talk about his strengths and weaknesses. So Devil Jin is an all-round character. He is more of the in-between between Heihachi and Kazuya. He has good pokes. He has good lows, he has good mids, he has decent crushing, and he has decent tracking. So he is the all-round Mishima. He has a launching hell sweep. Whereas Devil Jin's, his is just a flat-out launcher. It doesn't do that much damage, so it only does about 35 damage, 36 damage. But it has war carry, so that means you can actually extend their damage if you're able to carry them to the wall. For pretty decent damage. So, you know, yeah. As you can see, 53 damage, pretty good damage, and you get Oki as well thanks to the wall. So it's a pretty powerful tool in this game if you are able to carry to the wall. But the thing with Devil Jin, as with all Mishimas, you need good execution. So being able to do constant electrics, you know, it's pretty you know, basically a must-have. You know, it is pretty difficult. Even doing that combo, there are 5 electrics. You know, it is very hard to get, you know, electrics that consistent and being able to do 5 electrics like that. So practice is needed. And that's about it. Devil Jin, in my opinion, he is a bit harder to play than Heihachi, but he's easier to play than Kazuya. So he's the mix, he's the in-between. If you're like, I don't really want to play Kazuya because he doesn't have any pokes and he's a bit harder to play and he's a very electric reliant, then you can go for Devil Jin because he isn't super electric reliant, because he's the only Mishima that has a 15 frame launcher that isn't an electric, and it's an easy mode punish. So yeah, I mean, if you just want an easy Mishima to play that doesn't really require too much execution when it comes to punishment, then you can go for it, because the most thing that turns people away from Mishimas is their punishment. In order to actually launch, you need to be able to do constant electrics, which is extraordinarily difficult. So people tend to put this off. But with Devil Jin, I mean, you don't really need it. I mean, it's good to pressure people with. You need the electric to be able to, you know, pressure people and whiff punish. But at the end of the day, you can make do without. You can punish them with 3+4 as a whiff punisher. It's not a launcher, but it's a really good whiff punisher. But I mean, you can just whittle away at their health. But it's obviously better to get that dash electric mastered. So yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, that's about it for Devil Jin's strengths and weaknesses, and let's move on to the next part. Okay, let's talk about Electric Wing Godfist. This move here, and obviously you can combo into multiple ones, but that's just mostly for show. This move has a low hitbox, so as long as they're not ducking or in a stance, this will hit. Pretty much anything. So yeah, and it's a very strong tool in Devil Jin's punishment and pressure game. Because this move is safe on block, it's actually plus on block. Very strong move just to throw out. Really good keep out tool. Because the worst case scenario, they block it and they get pushed away and you can just backdash and regain composure and space. This move is +5, so you can technically dash into it and do another one. So yeah, because you're +5, electric loops are possible. However, you gotta be careful when throwing them out, because obviously if I do an electric and dash into another one and they predict it, they can duck and then launch me for it. So you gotta watch out when doing it. -10 on the Wind Guard Fist, by the way. So if you don't know what an electric is the just frame version of the Wind Guard Fist. And it's called electric because, as you can hear right there, there's electric sounds, and if they block it, they get covered in electricity. And on hit, same thing as well, and it makes a very distinct sound. So if you hear that, duh, then you've done the Electric Wind Guard Fist. So basically, you have to hit down, forward, and 2 on the exact same frame, like that. So if it shows like that, you've done that part perfectly, and now you just need to do the rest of the motion, which is forward, neutral, down, down, forward, +2 at the same frame. And then if it shows like that, exactly like that in the input display, then you've done it correctly. Common mistakes you get is down 2, so for example like that. What that means is you missed the down forward input. Another mistake is down 2. I mean down forward 2. So what this means is you missed the down input. So if I get that, that means I missed the down input. Sometimes input display doesn't even show the neutral, but you don't need to worry about that. That's just the input display bug. And yeah, this move is also, obviously I've already mentioned, a safe on block launcher, so that's the main reason we use it. Arguably the best move in the game. So yep, that's it for the electric wind godfist. You can do multiple wind godfist, which I'll show you, but this is kind of useless if I'm honest with you. And you shouldn't really try and use this. Aside from swag, really, that's the only thing that this has. You can combo a maximum of 6, but I can't do 6. I can do 5, and even then 5 is difficult. So yeah, you can go into multiple electrics and just spam electrics at the wall. This does take a lot of execution to get it on that level. A good tactic is to go electric into, not wind godfist, into forward 2. This allows you to get a guaranteed splat if they duck, or press a button if you do it quick enough. Okay, so let's talk about back 4. So this move here. This move is +6. It has decent range, and it counter hit launches. So this is the example combo that you should use. So it does 62 damage. Obviously the wall does 1, and yeah, it's a really good move. This move also hits grounded like that, and if it's really good for people who use get up kicks a lot, because this will counter hit launch the get up kick. So yeah, just a really fantastic move in general. It has a good hitbox, it hits grounded, so yeah, feel free to abuse it. Down forward 1. I mean, it's a good move. It's just literally just, you know, you just keep people in check. -3 on block, +8 on hit. So yeah, you just use this move when you just want to keep people in check. You can use it to pressure because it does have an extension, and obviously this is natural combo on counter hit. It's only +3 on hit, the second hit. But either way, it's good. It's still a good move. You can delay the second hit and potentially go for a round ender. Just overall, pretty good down forward 1. Arguably one of the better down forward 1s in the game because of the extension. And the extension is safe on block as well, being at only -8. Another good poke is down forward 4. This move basically used to, you know, beat out anything that has crushing properties, because this move is incredibly hard to crush because it has a grounded angle and it's a mid, so it has a really good hitbox. And it can even hit grounded at some angles as well, although inconsistent. So yeah, I highly suggest you use this. This move can be hit confirmed somewhat. You get down forward 4-4, but you can only do this probably about 30% of the time, so I don't even advise it, because if you miss it, they could potentially launch you. This move is -15, and that's about it. This move is used mostly against Relax and Art of Phoenix, mostly against Ling. Forward 4-2, this move is -8, does 24 damage, and gives a nice knockdown, and it's just generally a pretty good move. This move completely beats sidesteps to the left. They have, in order to actually beat it, they have to side walk. So for example, if they want like that, they have to side walk like this if they want to beat it. However, to the right, it can be, you know, completely, does not have zero tracking to the right. So yeah, this move has some tracking to the left. So it's a pretty good move to use because of the fact that most people will be stepping left, because that's the general trend with Mishimas. However, his house sweep tracks completely to the right. So either way, I mean, regardless, you got options that cover multiple options. So pretty good. Okay, now we get into the good stuff. So up forward 4, this move is safe on block, and as you can see, it does a lot of damage. It does 21 damage. However, that's not even the best part. I'm actually messing it up because I'm bad. You can actually dash up and get a free back 4. This is completely free. They cannot block this. As you can see, they're still on the ground when this hits. And even if you do mistime it a little bit and they try and get up, you hit them standing. And the reason I know that this is guaranteed is because I have standing guard on. So obviously it should be blocking. So yeah, this is just completely free regardless if they stand up. If they stand up, you're just doing free damage and you're getting free frame advantage. So yeah, pretty good. You could go for the house sweep as well and potentially hit them with that as well if you really want to, but either way it's still a decent move. However, you have to watch out. It can be completely sidestepped in both directions. There is no tracking on it. Okay, now we get into the good stuff. So, well, the other good stuff. Crouch dash 4. This move completely tracks to the right and it offers a really high damage launcher if you have the execution, which I kinda do sometimes, and you get 47 damage easy mode. Well, I say easy mode, but if you get the hard part, then yeah, you get pretty decent damage. I can do it somewhat consistently, and open ground you get 52 damage, which is insane for a low launcher. However, most of the time you're going to be doing this because, quite frankly, it's the most consistent option, and that does 36 damage for your easy mode juggle. But if you carry them to the wall, you can actually, you know, get quite a decent amount of damage. So I mean, yeah, just a really powerful tool. This move launches, so launching low. However, of course, with all owl sweeps, they are launch punishable, so don't do it too often. Don't be predictable, because if you're predictable, this gets blocked. You get fully launched. So yeah. And if you got execution like that, I mean, you're a beast. What can I say? You know, being able to do 2 electrics into a house from a house sweep is insane. Takes an insane amount of execution to get to that level. But what I recommend, just go for the easy one, which is 1+4. I mean, the reason why people often underestimate the house sweep and often talk bad about it is because of the fact that you don't do much damage open ground. But once you get to the wall, that's it. You know, 353 damage guaranteed. Okay, so back forward 2-1. This move is your anti-sidestep. Completely tracks in both directions. However, it is only +1 on hit. However, it has an extension. That's a wall splat. So yeah, you can delay every single hit like that. So it's a very useful tool. And because it tracks 360, it's basically a mid-homie move that comes out at 15 frames. So always use this move if people like to step. So for example, Wavedash into it can be really useful. It's only +1 on hit, but the thing is, because it's on hit, not a lot of people know that. So yeah, don't finish the string too often, because this will happen to you. You know, you eat an electric launch or whatever launch, even at the wall, I mean, can be stepped. I mean, this move has like next to no tracking, so try not to use it too much. The last hit, if you're up against good players. So a good way to check if people step it is just do the first 2 hits and see if they're stepping you. If they're not, then you can go ahead and mix it up, the timings, and try and hit them with the last hit. If the second hit counter hits, my bad. That is a completely guaranteed combo right there. Natural on counter hit. It does have other different extensions. Like that, he has a launching version, but like the other version, it is also you know, it also gets beat by sidesteps, and as well as that, this is -14, so sometimes it can even get launched by certain characters. So down back to this move is +3 on hit. It's a low and it high crushes. That's pretty much all there is to it. It does 15 damage. It's a high crush. It's not unseeable, but it's pretty quick. And it's -13 on block, so it can be launched by some characters, but not all. And yeah, while standing forward is completely uninterruptible, and it completely tracks to the left. So if they can only sidestep in that left direction, so they can only sidestep upwards, because if I try and sidestep down, obviously it just puts me back in crouch. So yeah, there is no way to actually sidestep down. You have to sidestep up. So if you're on player 2 side, you can just do while standing for all day and it'll track. So yeah. Also, you can go for mix-ups as well, do another one and they're in the same position. Or you could just, you know, crouch cancel into like a house sweep or something. Okay, so now for the moves that didn't make the list. So while rising 2, this move is generally a really powerful move, but it's minus 12. But as you can see, I mean, it can carry to the wall. Does pretty good damage if you carry them to the wall, even without carrying them to the wall, which I'll try and demonstrate. I mean, it does 53 damage without carrying them to the wall, 74 if you carry them. So either way, pretty good tool. This move is minus 12 though. However, it tracks to Devojin's weak side, which is to the left, and I missed it there. I would have got 4 then. The maximum you can get is 5. And there I got the 4. That does 62 damage in damage, so it's a really good if you can hit it. But quite frankly, it's not worth the execution. So yep. On to the next move. While running 3, sorry. This move is basically a Dragonov while running 2, a better version. So this move has an incredibly bad whiff animation, but it's plus 10. And a wall splat. And it's really good to do after an electric because you're already plus. And yeah. And if you got execution, you can do it after jabs like that. And doing it point blank. So how do we do it? It's literally 3 forwards, 1, 2, 3, and then plus 3. But really quickly. That's all there is to it. You have to do it really quickly. You can buffer it during moves. Like that. So you do your jab. And during the animation, you input one of the forwards. So as the animation ends, you can input one of the forwards. And that will allow you to basically only need to do 1 input, 2 inputs. Which makes it possible to do it point blank. And yeah, this move is plus 9. So what that means is you can do back 4, 2, 1 completely uninterruptible. And if they sidestep, which people like to do after getting hit by a run into, rather blocking a run into. Yeah, but obviously you have to look at the distance, because obviously if I do it like that, I could get whiff punished. They could be backdashing and then boom, whiff punish. So yeah, you gotta watch out. But yeah, running 3, sorry, really good move. Okay, so let's talk about Devojin's punishment. So Devojin's block punishment is the best, second best out of all the Mishimas. His is not as good as Kazuya's, but it's better than Heihachi's. So he also has the best 12 frame punisher, so he's the best character in the game at punishing get up kicks, as far as I know. So yeah, he can punish mid get up kicks at almost any range, so yeah, very very strong punishment. So let's begin. So 1-1-2, this is the preferred punisher because you can go into the Mishima Crouch Dash mix up, which gives you a free mix up basically. So like for example, I could go like this into a forward 2, or I could go into like a down back 2 or something. So really really powerful, has unlimited potential. So yeah, really really powerful. If you want guaranteed damage, 1-2-2 is a excellent 12 frame punisher, 10 frame punisher. It does a lot of damage at 27, so it does 2 points more, but it gives a mix-up opportunity as you are at frame advantage. So you could potentially go like this into a mix-up anyway, into like that for example. So it's a really good punisher. However, the thing that makes Devojin's one unique is the fact he can delay the second hit. This is actually somewhat hit confirmable, somewhat. So yeah, his is very unique. So yeah, for minus 12 we get back 1-2. Now look at the range on the back one. It has insane range. Biggest range out of all of the Mishima's 12 frame punishers, so he's very good at punishing get up kicks. And obviously this wall splats. This does not do as much damage as Kazuya's. Kazuya's back 1-2 is actually 11 frames, so yeah. But it does not have the same range. So yeah, for minus 13 we get down forward 4 force. This is minus on hit and minus 4, so it's not exactly the best, but it's useful for moves that are minus 13 and crush. So for example, Devojin's Rage Hell Sweep sometimes jabs whiff. So down forward 4-4 is basically the guaranteed 13 frame punisher. And for minus 14, we get Electric Wind Godfist. Okay, for minus 14, we have the Electric Wind Godfist. This is incredibly hard to use as a punisher, so I only suggest you do this if you are very competent. However, a good way of practicing it is by doing forward, back, 2, 1, down, forward, 2. This is a minus 14 move, so if you want to have a go at punishing minus 14, just do that move, and yeah. Okay, minus 15, this is where you get a more consistent Electric Wind Godfist. So yeah, and obviously, as you can see, tons of damage potential. So yeah, minus 15 is where you get an electric, very consistent to get your electrics. However, if you don't feel comfortable and you're in an online connection, for example, you can do this combo instead. The down 3+4 can kicks have decent range and they're mids. And it's a mid. So that means, for example, if somebody, let's say, is recovering crouching for some reason with a standing move, you can do this. And yeah, it's just really good. Does decent damage as well. So okay, so Devil Jin's while standing launch punishment looks something like this. It's much better than Kazuya's. I mean Heihachi's, sorry. It's much better than Heihachi's, but it's not as good as Kazuya's. Kazuya gets a 13 frame launcher. Devil Jin does not have this. So let's begin. So minus 10 you get down to. This is just for minus 10 moves. For minus 11 you get while standing 4-4. You can go for just the while standing 4 for frame advantage and go for a mix up. So like example like this, for example. But this offers no frame advantage. It's minus 4 on hit, so you're best off to back away. Minus 13 you get while standing 1-4. This does pretty decent damage and offers opportunities for a mix up. And that's about it. Minus 15 you get while standing 2. And of course if you're able to hit it, you get very good damage. Very good damage. Obviously, if you got the execution, you can go for multiple electric combos. But quite frankly, even for me, they're difficult to do consistently. So, yep. If you got execution, you can crouch cancel into a can. So this is mostly used for staggers. So this is the easier option to get high damage. So you know that does extraordinarily high amount of damage, much more than the while standing 2. While standing 2, a maximum amount of damage you can actually get is about 72. This does 12 points more, so pretty good. However, the best damage you can possibly get is off crouch cancel electric. As you can see, you got the punish there. And you know you get pretty beefy damage if you can do that sort of combos. So how do we do it? Literally dash into an electric, that's all it is. And yeah, you get pretty good damage. You can also sidestep as well into the electric. However, I prefer dashing. Sidestep into electric is a bit difficult, as you have to do it pretty quickly. Okay, so let's talk about wave dashing and crouch dash mix-ups and stuff. So Devil Jin has a crouch dash, as you can see, which can be transitioned into a wave dash by doing multiple ones. And this can be transferred further into a light dash. So what a light dash is a super fast crouch dash. But yeah, you have many options. So this just basically, you know, you're insinuating your dominance and the fact that you got a lot of pressure. So anyway, let's begin. So when would you know, do a crouch dash mix up on somebody? You can do it anywhere, anytime really. Like, you know, just mid screen, just randomly just go for a hell sweep, or you know, mid screen go for a forward 4-2. But like what I like to do is preferably it's done after a knockdown, because then you can go for a mix up. If they try and tech roll or stand up, hell sweep them. Obviously this is launch punishable, so if they guess right, you're going to eat a launch, but if they guess wrong, you get a lot of damage, decent amount of damage, and psychological advantage. So yeah, and the next thing you know, you're going for a mid, and you hit them. That does decent damage. Oh, next thing you know, you just go for while standing too, because you got a hard read. A hard read on somebody. And that does decent damage. Or better yet, you could even just YOLO it and go for can-cans if you really want to. But yeah, that's basically what the crash dash mix-up is. So let's talk about options, the legitimate options that most people will do. So this into forward 4-2 because they can't sidestep that. It's unsteppable if you time it correctly, because there's not enough frames to actually sidestep this. You could also go for a, obviously we talked about the house sweep. However, if you want a more riskier version, you can go for while standing 2 into house sweep. This is a true 50-50, and both options launch. However, the while standing 2 isn't that punishable at only -12, so you'll just eat a bit of damage, but it's not too bad. However, if you don't even want to eat that much damage, you can go for the safer options, which is up forward 4. This is completely safe on block. Into back 4, that does 37 damage and resets the situation for another crouch dash mix up. Another good option is crouch dash 3. This is -8, has pushback. However, this move is a seeable mid, very seeable. But you do get a juggle off it. Very similar to your house sweep in actuality, but it is slightly more damage. But yep, this move sucks because 1, it's slow, 2, it's uber linear, easily sidesteppable, so try and not use this too much. And stick to either up forward 4, down 3, down back 2. Those are the best lows to use if you're going for a safer version of the mix-up. So yeah, down 3 is -1 on hit. So yeah, it's a good low, does decent damage, and it's not really punishable. It's only -12, so it's pretty safe to throw out. Even if they block it, it's not a big deal. So yeah, try and limit your house sweep usage if you can, unless you got hard reads and know that they're not going to duck. Because if you're too predictable, you're going to be eating a launch, of course, which is not good. But yeah, that's literally the crouch dash mix-up right there in a little bundle.
It was like a night.